So what's the deal with the city receiving complaints for some of our new listings? I'm going to talk about that in a second. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Andrew Somerville, and I'm a real estate broker at Red Brick Real Estate here in Guelph, Ontario, Canada. And I'm also the team lead at the DNA Homes team. So let's get back to those complaints. Over the years, real estate agents, myself and other ones in the city, other colleagues, have noticed this trend that when we list a property that has maybe a basement kitchen or accessory apartment, or maybe has students in it, there's always a mysterious complaint that just happens to come after the property is listed. And when we call the city says, oh, somebody complained. Well, who is that person? There's got to be a person out there that has dedicated their life to scouring over the MLS listings to find properties that could complain or have complaints. Or the city is just being a little bit devious about their motives of how to control their bylaws. So I want to be clear, I think bylaws are great. I think everybody should adhere to the bylaws. They're there for a purpose, mostly for the safety of yourselves and the community around. But what I don't like is the perceived deviousness. It gives the city a bad look, and that's not good, especially when we have to deal with these things, and causes people to hide things even more when the city does things in a devious way. So just be clear, say, hey, we're going to scour all the MLS listings when they come on the market to see if what the pictures say match what we have on file for permits. That would be a lot better, I think. I'm going to talk about one of the things that has come up a lot over the last couple of years, and there's a little bit of misinformation around this. So I'm going to talk about it. One of the common complaints that we have are homes that have more than 4 students living in it. And the bylaw is clear that you can't have more than 4 unrelated people living in a dwelling. And then the bylaw goes on to describe what a dwelling is. There has been a court case that landlords have gone put against the city, and they successfully won, and the city actually amended their bylaw. And I'm going to show you that right now. I'm going to share my screen just so you know that I'm telling the truth here. Okay, so I've got the bylaw up. So it's talking about lodging houses here, and Ontario Building Code lodging requirements. So in this, I'm not going to read it all, but it goes on to define the difference between a dwelling unit and a lodging house. And a dwelling unit, which is like a regular house, can have more than 4 residents that don't know each other living there, but there is a group of requirements, and they're right here. So if you can see my screen here, it starts right about here. There's a list of these things that you should adhere to. And basically, all of the tenants have to know each other prior to signing the lease. They don't decide, or they decide on their own who gets which room. There's no keys or locks on the doors. They sign one lease. They pay utilities in their own name, things like that. Okay. So that's good to know, because a lot of people think they can't rent out their house. I'm going to take it back to you guys. A lot of people think that they can't rent out their investment property to 5 or 6 students because of the bylaw, because it says you can't have more than 4. But you can if they follow these set of guidelines. And we have come across properties that have had 10, 11, 12. They're not registered as a lodging house, and they're definitely not a regular dwelling house. Use common sense here, people. Now, one thing I'll say is that as reading this now today, I didn't see anything about up to 6 people. That was something in the past where I unless it's one of those Mandela effect things, but it did say up to 6. So 4 up to 6 people, as long as they fit that code that I just read to you, you can have students or anybody. That can be adults, young people, old people, it can be anybody living in a single dwelling. Okay, so as long as you know that, I think you're on. I think you're good. I'm going to get on to what this is usually about, which is what the market is doing. So what is the market doing? Remember, I predicted that the market would go up January and February and it would start to level off in the spring. And I already peaked, so I know that I'm right. But I'm going to show you anyways. I'm going to share my screen again with you. Okay, got it up here already. We're looking at the city of Guelph. Whoops, I'm not sharing. I am sharing the right screen. The city of Guelph. We're looking at all property types. So here's January, here's February, and here's March. So it went up just a little bit overall. So it went up from 737,500. This is the medium house price, to 738,500. If you look at the breakdown of single family, townhouse, and condo, this is what it looks like. Single families have gone down slightly. And remember that there's still student properties selling, and a lot of them are on the smaller side of homes. Typically in the spring, the larger homes start selling. And these are homes that are, might be, 2,000 to 3,000 square feet, have a swimming pool, that just don't sell well in the winter. The next is townhouses. So that's gone down quite a lot. I'm not sure why that is. I haven't noticed any townhouses selling for 682. Most of them have been up around the 700 mark. Condos down. This again is always up and down, just depends on what's selling. And then semi-detached. This does not surprise me, because again, it's the end of the student rental selling period, and a lot of them tend to be semi-detached homes. So we'll keep an eye on that. But overall, the market's doing pretty well. It's staying level, and I think that it's going to continue to do that throughout the spring. I hope we see more inventory so that the prices do stay low, because what's going to happen is that prices will go up as long as there is not inventory. As long as people don't want to sell their homes, then the price is just going to keep rising. And I am seeing multiple offers here in Guelph. I'm seeing a lot of multiple offers in Cambridge. And that's just typically because the agents in Cambridge price their houses very low compared to what it's actually worth. And it has bidding wars of, 10, 15 offers. And it's just the way that they do business over there. Guelph, we tend to list for what it's worth and let the market determine what it's doing. Sometimes agents list low, and that's an important thing. If you're working with us as a buyer, make sure you know what the property is actually worth versus its listing price. Okay, and that's our job, is to tell you what that is, so you don't waste your time looking at a house that's worth $1 million that's listed at 800,000. Okay. Take care. Enjoy your spring. The weather's looking great, and we look forward to seeing you next month.